In the late 90s, one company owned the entire internet. They were the king. They even had the keys to the future of search, social, and mobile. In 1998, two college students walked into a meeting with the king, carrying one simple offer. They weren't CEOs. They weren't powerful. What they had looked like a toy, a simple search engine, and they wanted to sell it for just $1 million. One of the biggest companies in the world once had the chance to buy the future, but not aggressively, not arrogantly, just dismissively. They said no. That toy became Google. And this wasn't a one-time mistake. It happened again, and again, and again. To understand how catastrophic this fall was, you have to understand how powerful Yahoo once was. In the mid-90s, Yahoo wasn't just a company. It was the undisputed gateway to the internet. Founded in 1994 by Jerry Yang and David Philo, it started as a simple, hand-curated directory. But as the digital world began to explode, Yahoo became its front door. By 1998, they weren't just a website, they were a destination. Millions of people didn't browse the web, they went to Yahoo. At its peak in January 2000, Yahoo's market cap soared to a staggering $125 billion. To put that in perspective, Yahoo was worth more than Ford, GM, and Chrysler combined. Their homepage was a digital empire: news, finance, email, sports, and weather. It was designed to be sticky. They didn't want you to just visit, they wanted you to live there. Their offices were the epicenter of the dot-com lifestyle, complete with pool tables, foosball, and corporate rec rooms that defined the new, relaxed web culture. But behind the fun was a massive, high-speed machine. In 1998, the Yahoo directory was receiving 95 million page views per day, triple that of its closest rival, Excite. At one point, they were processing 90% of all internet searches. They were so dominant that when they went public in 1996, their shares rocketed by 154% in a single day, making Yang and Philo worth $8 billion each within just 3 years. And this is where the seed of their destruction was planted. Yahoo's business model wasn't built on technology, it was built on attention. They didn't sell search results. They sold millions of dollars in banner ad contracts to giants like Procter & Gamble. The longer you stayed trapped inside their purple ecosystem, the more money they made. At the time, they felt untouchable. They had the users, they had the cash, and they had the crown. They believed that if you owned the front door, you owned the future. But while Yahoo was busy building walls to keep people in, the very nature of the internet was about to change. And they were too blinded by their own success to see it coming. So when Google showed up with a brutally efficient way to exit, Yahoo didn't see innovation. They saw a threat. Yahoo didn't just miss the future once. They had the keys to the entire digital kingdom handed to them on a silver platter. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. And every single time, they chose arrogance over evolution. The tragedy started in 1998. 2 young Stanford students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, walked into Yahoo's office. They had built a raw, revolutionary search algorithm called Google. They were tired, broke, and wanted to go back to their studies. So they offered Yahoo a deal. Buy Google for just $1 million. $1 million for just search engine. But Yahoo's executives laughed it off. They thought search was just a distraction that would make users leave their platform. They didn't buy Google because they didn't want people to find answers. They wanted people to stay trapped inside Yahoo. 4 years later, reality hit them like a freight train. By 2002, Yahoo finally realized their massive mistake. Search actually mattered. And Google was growing too fast to ignore. Desperate to fix their blunder, Yahoo went back to the negotiation table. This time, they offered Google a staggering $3 billion. But the tables had turned. Google knew their own worth. They said no. They demanded $5 billion. Yahoo had the cash. They had the global dominance. They had a second chance to own the future of the internet. And yet, they walked away over a difference of $2 billion. $2 billion to control what would become a multi-trillion-dollar empire. That single corporate hesitation didn't just cost them a deal. It signed their death warrant. But Yahoo was about to prove that lightning can strike the same blind spot twice. Flash forward to 2006. Another young 22-year-old founder walked into Yahoo's orbit, Mark Zuckerberg. At the time, Facebook was still in its infancy, restricted mostly to college campuses. Yahoo saw the spark and offered $1 billion. Zuckerberg, pressured by his investors, actually agreed. The paperwork was ready. The deal was practically done. Then, corporate greed took over. Yahoo's stock dipped slightly, and their executives panicked. Instead of closing the deal of the century, they tried to play hardball. They lowered their offer to $850 million. That petty, arrogant insult was all it took. Zuckerberg famously walked out of the room, tore up the agreement, and never looked back. Today, Alphabet and Meta are worth trillions, shaping global culture and the future of human connection. Yahoo lost Google for $1 million, then for $5 billion. Then they lost Facebook. Not because they lacked the vision to see the potential, but because they lacked the courage to commit. Internally, they still believed they were the untouchable center of the internet. They weren't adapting, they were just protecting their old walls. And in the world of technology, protection is just a slow, expensive way to die. By 2008, Yahoo was bleeding out. Google had completely hijacked search. Facebook was aggressively eating social. And Yahoo was paralyzed, stuck in no man's land. Revenue growth flatlined. Market confidence completely evaporated. Their stock was dead, hovering around $19 to $20 per share. And then, the ultimate tech titan knocked on the door. Microsoft showed up with a monstrous check. An all-cash and stock deal worth $44.6 billion. That was $31 per share, a massive 62% premium over reality. This wasn't just a regular acquisition corporate offer. It was a multi-billion-dollar golden parachute. But why did Microsoft want Yahoo so badly? Because they were terrified of Google. Steve Ballmer, Microsoft's aggressive CEO, wanted to combine Microsoft's muscles with Yahoo's massive audience to create a Google killer. It was the ultimate tech alliance. But Yahoo's co-founder, Jerry Yang, had a massive ego problem. He didn't just hate the price, he personally hated Microsoft. Yang looked at the tech giant that shaped the personal computer era and saw an old, slow dinosaur. He genuinely believed Microsoft would destroy Yahoo's unique, creative, purple culture. So, instead of acting like a business leader, he acted on emotion. Jerry Yang said no. What happened next was a corporate bloodbath. Yahoo's stock didn't just drop, it completely collapsed. Within months, it plummeted below $10. Over 50% of the company's total value completely wiped out overnight. That single emotional refusal destroyed tens of billions in shareholder wealth and permanently became Silicon Valley's ultimate cautionary tale. At its core, Yahoo didn't fail because of one mistake. It failed because it never knew what it wanted to be. They tried to be everything. They invested in content, hired journalists, and built Yahoo News into a massive operation. At the same time, they tried to compete in search, then in ads and in social. Google chose tech. Yahoo tried to be everything. And internally, leadership was chaos. Between 2007 and 2012, Yahoo had 5 CEOs, each with a different vision, each resetting the strategy. Then came Marissa Mayer in 2012, a former Google executive seen as the savior. She pushed mobile, acquired Tumblr for $1.1 billion, and redesigned products. Tumblr never paid off. The mobile strategy lagged. Revenue kept falling. Yahoo wasn't early anymore. They were reacting. And in tech, reaction is death. In 2016, the end finally came. Yahoo was sold to Verizon. Price? Just $4.48 billion. From $125 billion at its peak to under $5 billion. A 96% drop in value. This wasn't a collapse. It was a slow disintegration. They never respected the future. After the acquisition, Yahoo was merged into Verizon's media group, its identity erased. Yahoo didn't die because of bad luck. It died because it believed its own story for too long. And that's the real lesson. In business, the biggest risk isn't failure. It's arrogance. Because the moment you think you've already won, that's the moment you stop seeing what's coming next.